Hello folks, Daniel here from Flow Forth Instruments again with another video, this time precipitated by a particular happening. I'll tell you the story, it's probably very familiar to some of you. I was selling a rather unknown branded guitar on Craigslist and got an email from somebody that was interested, who then proceeded to lowball me to at an insulting amount. I mean, less than half of what I was asking. Basically requested me to give the guitar away. And when I emailed back and said, this is my lowest price, I'll try to meet you part way, but this is as low as I can go, they sent me back an email saying, no thank you, I'm not interested in unbranded guitars, or I'm not interested in no brands, I think was the phrase they used. So here's somebody trying to get a guitar for pennies on the dollar, and then when they don't get their way, you know, just saying, oh, you're selling crap, it's not worth my time, which I thought was rather interesting. Anyway, it brings me back to this topic that we've talked about in a few videos now, and that has to do with brands and logos. I've had some awful guitars lately that are very well known brands, particularly one beginning with F. Some of their entry-level stuff is declining, I think, in terms of quality. And there are other brands too. There are lots of household names that are putting out guitars that are very cheap, you know, on the poor side of materials and craftsmanship. Sometimes it's their junior or their import line, and other times it does actually have the recognizable brand on the headstock. My theory is logos and manufacturers, names of guitar companies matter less and less in this day and age. You know, you have the same 8-10 factories cranking out 90% of the world's output for guitars, particularly acoustic guitars. And a lot of times they're made in the same factories, depending on whether they have a logo, a recognizable logo or not. So really you should concentrate on the build quality, the craftsmanship, the woods selected, and the fit and finish and sound of the guitar. That should be your main concern. To illustrate that point, I've got together 3 unbranded guitars here to show you. Guitars with no brand at all. No logo, no brand, no sticker, no label, nothing. And with a good setup, which I have done, they are excellent guitars, every bit the equal of an entry-level Ibanez, Yamaha, Alvarez, Dean, no matter what company you like, these match up with them. I'll start with this one here. It's a Dreadnought guitar. It has absolutely no logo whatsoever, it has no sticker inside. It is a cedar top, it's solid cedar top, it's nice mahogany back and ribs. The board is rosewood. It's good quality. The frets needed work, but I've got them level and polished. And here we have a really nice acoustic guitar. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Plays absolutely fantastic. Has a nice tone. You know, if this said Yamaha or Ibanez or Alvarez on the headstock, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. It's of, you know, similar quality. It has X bracing, notch kerfling on the inside. It's properly made. It's got a nice binding throughout, black with the white purfled binding. A rather ordinary rosette, but it's not a $500 guitar. The tuners are fine. It's an absolutely worthwhile acoustic guitar, Dreadnought. And actually sounds really nice. And I would say, you know, if you put a $200 sticker or $250 on this in a shop, if you ignore the fact that it's unbranded, you know, it would be absolutely well priced. I mean, it's in that quality range. Very similarly, no idea who made these. Here's another one. This one's a matte finish, which I like. If you've seen my other videos, you see me talking about the lack of a lacquer. You know, alliterative there. lack of lacquer and a nice matte or hand rubbed finish gives you, in my opinion, sometimes more wood quality. You're hearing more of the actual wood. This is not a tone wood thing. I don't go for that either. I'm just saying that sometimes a heavy lacquer will cut down the reverberation of the wood, so I prefer matte finishes on acoustic guitars. That's all I'm saying. This also is nicely made. It is solid spruce. It has similar rosewood pieces, the bridge and the fretboard. The frets are decent. I've got them trimmed and leveled and polished. Also, the tuners are holding just fine. It has a sapele, rather plain sapele back, but the top is a really nice quality. And again, no idea who makes this guitar. It's a very normal Dreadnought pattern, but the materials and the craftsmanship are just fine. No logo whatsoever. Decent guitar. This one, I would say, is even better than the cedar top one. It just has a really, really nice solid wood guitar tone. So there's another example for you. I have to go off shot here for a minute to grab the other one. And this one, again, absolutely unbranded. No idea who made it. This one is a OM size guitar. You know, the smaller body, which I really like. It's solid spruce, although it's a sunburst finish. It looks to me as though the grain goes all the way through, so we're looking at a solid spruce top. And surprisingly, there's a little down tune because I just put the strings on. Surprisingly nice full tone on this guitar. Now, somebody might walk past this and say, no, I'm not buying it. It's got no brand. It's an off-brand. It's a no brand. It's Chinese crap. No way it can be a good guitar. Wrong. It is a good guitar. It's an excellent guitar. It's actually a better guitar than most of the lesser known brand guitars that come through my shop. So this one's bound all the way along. Really nice ABS, sort of off-white. Very nice, clean rosette. Not too much bling there. Just a double black purfling. I like that. It's very classy. It's got the normal pearl dots. They might be mother of toilet seat, I don't know. But they look fine, and the keys, the tuners look just fine. It's got a really nice profile heel on the neck. It's shallow with the capped button there. It's a nice guitar. It's a really nicely made guitar. For a smaller body guitar, it has actually a really nice full sound. I like it a lot. And this guitar is completely unbranded. The seller sells them claiming that it being unbranded allows him to sell it cheaper. Now, what does he mean by that? Well, I suspect these guitars are smaller-run guitars done through companies like Alibaba or AliExpress or something of that nature. A lot of the lesser-known brands are limited runs that people spec out and do, and when they do the run, they give you an option of printing your own logo on the top or leaving it blank, and of course to have your logo printed on the top. Whether you're just a small bedroom guitar business, or if you're a bigger manufacturer and you're getting guitars made in that particular factory, it's going to save you money to have no branding on here and no label in here. So that's what this person has done. It doesn't mean that it's a lesser quality guitar. This very, very easily could have a Dean or a Luna or I don't know, Alvarez sticker in here, and it would be just fine. It's a really nicely made smaller body guitar. So that I'm just trying to illustrate how pointless a brand and logo snobbery really is in this day and age. I mean, even brands like Fender and Guild have guitars made in numerous factories, often the same factories that are putting out guitars like this with no brand or with lesser brands on them or unknown brands on them. So it really is pointless judging everything by the writing on the headstock. 9 times out of 10, the person making the guitar is just being commissioned to do so. does not work for the person whose logo is on the headstock. The world has changed. People spec things out. They have a certain number made, and then they stamp them with their company. Whether that's computers or hard drives or phone parts, it doesn't really matter. This is the way the world is going. Everything is pieced out, spec'd out, and then you have somebody build it, and then you put your name on it. And it's the same in the guitar world, and I don't understand why there are so many guitarists that are 10, 15 years behind the times, still making disparaging comments about lesser brands and logos or where something's made. It shows to me an ignorance of the industry and what's happening in today's world. And I know this for a fact. I worked for two very, very reputable guitar manufacturers. I'm not going to say the names, but you would know them if I said them. I've been involved in QC, I've been involved in sales, I've been involved in writing and designing catalogs for wholesalers. I've been involved in the retail as well as the wholesale end. I've also been involved in a production team for creating new brands and models of guitars, violins, cellos, quite a number of things. So I've been in the production setting, and I know for a fact that this is the case. It's just that people are still operating under a knowledge that they acquired years ago. They haven't upgraded their information. So they still got this attitude, well, if it's not made in the US, if it's not made in Japan, if it's not branded, if it's not a logo I recognize, it can't be a good guitar. Rubbish. See you next time.